Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Welcome, everybody. This is Terry Palma with another episode of Business Innovators Radio Network. This morning we have Merritt Gantt, who's the Director of Sales with True Air Technology. And I think you're going to find this very, very interesting and informative because his company deals with radon gas and emissions. And that's something that I don't think most of our listening audience is familiar with, yet it's very, very important that we understand that. Merritt, are you with us this morning?
I am. Thanks for having me, Terry.
Well, thanks for being here. So first of all, tell us a little bit about True Air Technologies and yourself and how it came about.
Sure. So True Air Technologies, I'm actually the president. I apologize. I think I misled you a little bit. But True Air Technologies is a company focused on improving and restoring indoor air quality. So a big part of that is radon, but we also do indoor air quality testing, as well as providing solutions to improve indoor air quality so that our customers can breathe easy. And we came about, my parents owned a construction company for about 33 years, and we had been familiar with radon. We had heard about it kind of through the grapevine, but never really was a big concern. They built a beautiful home out in the middle of nowhere, really nowhere near where you would expect there to be high radon. Mom, being a nurse, had kind of heard about radon as well and said, we never tested our home. And so we decided to test their home. They tested their home, and it came back high. And at the time, we had no clue what that meant. Was that a problem? Is that something we should be concerned about? But the more we read about radon and the more we learned about it, the bigger the concern became. And we found out that radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer, and that it's a pretty serious problem when there's high levels of it, or really any levels. Any exposure carries risk. And so from there, we mitigated their home. We got the radon levels down to a safe level. And then we thought to ourselves, I bet there's a lot of other people that are unaware and are living in homes that are high with radon. And so that's what led to True Air Technologies. We decided to tackle that problem and help other customers assess their homes and improve their air quality.
So it's definitely something that our listeners should check into. I mean, even the business where they work and the home they live in. How's the process? Is it a tedious process? How does this all come about to test the environment in your home or maybe your business?
Sure. So it's not a tedious process. Actually, most people tell us when we've got a test device out in their home, they didn't even know it was there. They completely forgot about it until we came back and picked it up and went through the report with them. And so what we do is we deploy a professional testing device called a continuous radon monitor. And what that does is it measures your radon levels every hour for a 48-hour test. So we typically set about a 12-hour delay. And the reason we do that, we want the testing device to be delayed so that it comes into equilibrium with your home or your building or your place of work. And we let that device come into equilibrium. That ensures that there's no carryover from another test. But after that, it measures for 48 hours, and every hour it records the levels of radon in the building. And this is super important because you can go to the store, Terry, and you could buy a do-it-yourself test kit. But all you're going to see with that do-it-yourself test kit is a number. You're just going to see the average, the cumulative exposure. But you're not going to see the individual numbers over the hours. And the reason that's important, for example, is the house that my wife and I purchased. We had a low average, but when I looked at the test results and I looked at the hour by hour, there were actually several spikes where the radon level was elevated. And had I never used a professional testing device, I would have never known that. All I would have seen was the lower average, and everybody would assume, oh, you're good to go. But when we break it down hour by hour, it allows you to see the trends. It allows you to see what you're actually breathing throughout the day. And sometimes that's higher levels than what your average reveals.
Interesting. So is radon a natural thing that's around all of us, or is it something caused by, a factory that you might be around, or is it in regular neighborhoods? What is this radon thing?
So it is. It's a naturally occurring product, and I think that's why it doesn't get a whole lot of publicity. Radon's you don't hear a lot about it in the news. It's not like lead contamination or asbestos or these other contaminants that we're familiar with, because it's a naturally occurring product. It comes from the breakdown of uranium minerals in the soil. And so uranium breaks down into radium, and then that breaks down into radon gas. And really, Terry, the problem isn't so much with the radon gas as much as it is with what radon breaks down into. And as radon continues to break down, it breaks down into things like polonium and lead and all these other products that are harmful to our bodies. And as it breaks down, it releases energy, and that energy irradiates our cells, our lung cells in particular. And so it's naturally occurring. It's odorless, it's tasteless, it's colorless. You can't see it, smell it. Most people, you don't even know it's there unless you test for it. And that's why it's so important that we test.
So this testing now, so I can go down and buy a self-kit and stuff, and I don't know, what would that cost me? $25, $30 or something?
Yeah, you're probably around $30 at the store. But again,
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, but again, with that test kit, all you're seeing is a number. You don't see that hour by hour breakdown.
Right. Well, what I was getting at, so what for someone to test their home, or what's the cost for them to have it done professionally and know for sure what's going on hour by hour in their home?
Sure. So it's a lot less than people imagine. So we're kind of around the 125 to 150, just depending upon geographically where we're at and where we're going. But that's kind of the range we're at.
Well, that's definitely affordable to make sure that the air that we're breathing is safe and comfortable. So let's say that someone finds out that the readings on the radon are above what you consider being safe and something, and they want that taken care of. What's the procedure, and how long does that take? Is their living quarters going to be disrupted? How does it do to their lifestyle?
Yeah, so what we do is we come in and we assess the home. So every home is completely different. And I always get a kick because we go around, we fix a lot of systems in the Carolinas that other companies install because they treat radon and they treat homes like it's a cookie cutter. And so they put in almost the same system on every home. But your home is different than my home. And for all the listeners out there, I would imagine that your homes are a little bit different and the way you use them is a little bit different. So the first thing we do is we come in and we assess the home, and we figure out the best possible solution to mitigate radon out of your home. And we devise that plan, and we go over that with you, and we look at any obstacles that might make it difficult to mitigate, or anything that we might run into. And once we've established that, we try to find a good, typically a suction point. Most homes are going to be mitigated using active soil depressurization. So what that means is your home acts like a giant vacuum on the soil, and that's why people have problems with moisture. That's why they have problems with soil gas, and in this particular instance, radon, because your home is drawing down on the soil like a vacuum, and it's pulling whatever's underneath it into the home. And so what we do is we come in and we create a vacuum that's stronger than the vacuum of your home to reverse that flow and to keep soil gases from coming into your home. And so if you're on a foundation such as a slab or a basement, we're going to use a sub-slab depressurization. In a crawl space, we're going to be using a submembrane depressurization. But really the whole purpose is we're trying to create a vacuum underneath your foundation that's stronger than the vacuum of your home in order for us to suck out and remove that gas from entering your home. And so once we've established kind of what foundation it is, we figure out where our suction points are. And we take and we try to get near things like plumbing, and we try to find the best possible location that's going to provide the most airflow underneath your foundation type. So we find that, we dig out our suction pit, we install all of our pipe runs and our discharge, we mount that to a fan. We have our a licensed electrician come out, and he installs and hardwires the fan in onto a circuit, and then we hook everything up. And then finally, the last thing we do is we leave you with a third-party test kit to perform a radon test after we've gone and the system's been up and running. Now that test kit we do use just kind of show you your average, because we're not so much concerned about figuring out the radon then. We just want to verify that the system is operating properly. And so we use a third-party test kit, so there's no bias, there's no, well, these guys, they use their testing devices to measure the system afterwards. You deploy it, you send it off, it's prepaid, you just tear it open, deploy it, ship it back up, send it off, and then Alpha Laboratories sends you the results. And so that's kind of the process in a nutshell.
Fantastic. And it's pretty minimal invasive as far as living square of footage in the house. I mean, where someone's living, it's not that disruptive, is it? No.
And I think you asked about how long does that take. So it is minimally invasive. We try to keep everything as clean as possible and as neat as possible. We try to put systems in locations that are unobtrusive and you're not going to see it. Now, that being said, that's not always the case. Sometimes you have to get creative in order to get rid of the problem, but that again comes kind of home by home, depending upon how the home is used and what it looks like and how it's laid out, and that's just kind of a home by home basis. But typically, we're looking at a day to 2 to 3 days. That's kind of a typical installation, and we're kind of in and out, and not a big deal for you.
Fantastic. So let's say that you put in the testing kit, and it's a 3-day testing kit. No one even notices it's there, and the radon levels are good. There's no need for mitigation or what you just described. How often would someone need to have that testing done to make sure that the quality of their air isn't affected by radon?
Sure. So the EPA prescribes every 2 years. So every 2 years you want to retest your home, and if you make any type of changes to the HVAC or the structure of your home. So my mother-in-law, she's always talking about how she wants to take out the kitchen wall and open up the living space. So an instance like that, you take out that wall, you change the layout of your home, you want to retest after that, because what you're doing is you're affecting the airflow through your home, and that's a big part of how radon enters your home. It has to do with pressure and air and how air moves through your home. And so whenever you change some of those things, or you change the HVAC, you've now changed how your house breathes and how it flows and how it moves. And so you want to go behind and test and make sure that you haven't awakened something that might have been there all along.
Fantastic. Well, I can tell our listeners that I met Merritt through a business networking group, and I heard a presentation that he did. I was extremely impressed with the thoroughness of the knowledge he knew about his industry, and I knew nothing about it. I immediately contracted him to come and do our home, which he did, and I can tell you I didn't even know that the system was in place. So it was a painless procedure. I was very pleasantly surprised with the cost. It was effective, and luckily that our house didn't have any. We were well below the radon measurements and stuff. So Merritt's not just a guest I got out of the air. I fully recommend him that every home, every business should be tested for this potentially dangerous gas, especially if you have children in the house too. Merritt, would you give us your contact information so our listening audience could contact you and get their house and business tested?
Sure. So the best way to contact is you can reach us, of course, on our toll-free number, 833-878-3247. Or you can give me a call directly, 803-461-5664. Or you can always reach us online at 833trueair.com. And that's true as in truthful, air like what you breathe.com.
Fantastic. Merritt, I want to thank you for taking the time to come and share with our listening audience the importance of radon testing in their home and business. And hopefully our listening audience will contact you and get their testing done. Folks, this has been another show with Business Innovators Radio. And make sure you treat everyone nice out there. You have a great day. And if we don't do another show before the holidays are over, have a safe and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Thank you all. This is Terry Palmer signing out.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.